Hi, so just a video to talk through how we can set this up. So it is possible to randomize and present a random code to your participants and only allow one person to see each code. It is a little bit, there's quite a few steps involved, but hopefully this will help you talk through it pretty easily. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off in the survey flow. The way we're going to present these codes to our participants is through embedded data. So if we click on add a new element here and use embedded data, you would want this to be, if you are presenting the code in the end of survey element as they actually finish, after they've actually finished the survey, you're best to put this right down the very bottom of your survey flow, so it's the last thing that's assigned to your participants. So what you would do is you would just name this whatever you want, something like code as an example, and then you would paste in one of the values for one of your codes. So I'm just going to put in 1 just as an example. Then you would just go ahead and duplicate this, change out the code, put in a second code. So you would do this for each one of your codes. But the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to set up a branch. So we're going to add a new element here again and use a branch. We're going to add a condition, and this time we're going to be basing it off of a quota. So once you have created all of your branches, basically, once you've created all of your embedded data, you duplicate this out, create as many different codes as you need. So I'm just going to do 3 for now as an example. 3. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set a quota so that only one person can get this one person for this, and one person for this. And we're going to save the flow. So we're going to go into Tools and go to Quotas. I already have some set up in here, so I'm just going to remove these for now. Sorry. So we're just going to start off here and click on Add Quota. For this one, we only want one person to be able to meet this criteria, and we're going to do it off of simple logic. So we're going to say if embedded data, and then we're going to say code, and then is equal to 1. So we only want one person to meet this criteria. When the quota has been met, then we don't want to do anything because we're going to sort this out with survey flow. So we just leave it as can be evaluated display logic or survey flow. So I'm just going to name this code 1 or something like that. Then all we need to do is just copy this code, change the name, and change the code. So we would do this for each one of our codes. We would have one quota for each one of the codes that we have. So once you have done out all of those, just click save. And now the last step is to go back and make sure that it's not shown if it's already been shown to one person. So this is where we use our branch and we edit the condition and we say if quota, and then we're going to break this off of quota 1 has not been met. Okay, so if the quota for code 1 has not yet been met, then show the code. So basically this means once this has been shown, the quota will increment to 1, it will have been met, and then from then on the quota has already been met, so they will never be presented this embedded data. So then you just do this for each one. So I could move this out, for example, and just duplicate the branch, edit the condition, and do 2 has not been met, and then I just put each code into the corresponding branches so that it only is shown as long as the quota has not been met for that code. So I'll just do it one more time. So if embedded data code is equal to, if quota 3, I would have a third one obviously, and it has not been met, then I show my third code. The last step then is if you do actually want to randomize these, it's not that it really matters too much, but it is safer just to randomize them so that if 2 people come in at the same time, they're not both presented with the same code. That is very unlikely and very unfortunate if that happens, but it's just a safeguard. So we can click on add below, use a randomizer, and then move each of our branches into the randomizer. So we move these 3 in. Once we move all those in, you'll see it reads randomly present 3 of the following items, which we obviously do not want to happen. So I'm going to bring this down to 1 of the following elements. And then you can select evenly present elements, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be showing, we're only going to be showing each one once. So just to recap, the first thing we do is we come in and create embedded data fields. We give it a name, and then we put a different value in each one. So each one of our codes would go in here. Next thing we do is go into the quotas area and set a quota for that code is equal to 1 and only allow one person to meet that criteria. Set it to no actions, that it will be done through a logic or survey flow. Then we come back in here, set up a branch for each so that it's only presented if the quota has not yet been met for that code. And then we put them all in a randomizer so that only one of them is presented to each participant. Once you have all of that set up, the last thing to do is just pipe this into a survey, into the end of survey element. So we just click Save Flow, we go to our survey options, go to the termination area and do custom end of survey message. We're going to create a new message through our library. So down the bottom, there'll be new message. And you can type in whatever you want in here. So your code is, for example. And where you want the code to be put in, we use this pipe text menu here. We're piping from an embedded data field and we're piping the value that our participant got for code and insert. And this will pipe in the code that they were presented with and click save. And that's it. You've now completely set this up. So I hope this helps and I hope this answers the question. But if you do have any questions on this, please just let us know.